Road course racing and NASCAR Winston Cup competition is a little bit like short track racing. A lot of bumping and banging going on out there, and the spins that we have seen today and the fires have not been common to one area of the racetrack. Here is Boris Said nosing into the tire barriers up in turn number 2. In turn 11, some contact sent Stacy Compton spinning around in the Cougar Ford. Then up the hill again, it was Jimmy Spencer finding the tires and scattering them just a little bit. And that's just some of the action that we have seen here at Sears Point Raceway. And moments ago, the 31 car of Mike Skinner had an off-course excursion. Let's take a look at it.
Looks like it's going into turn 7 on the inside of the 90 car and hit the curbing on the inside, and around he goes.
All he did was hurt his pride, lose a couple of positions on the racetrack.
Back in 18th position.
And also moments ago, now Jeff Gordon has been trying to get around Stacy Compton for a long time, and there is a near miss as he got around him.
See, Jeff Burton, the Exide car, was coming out of the pit road, and Stacy Compton moved over to avoid Jeff Burton. When he did, he moved right in the side of Jeff Gordon. Now we see Jeff Burton with fresh tires right on the back bumper of Jeff Gordon.
Now the number 1 car of Steve Park is the last car on the lead lap. He's running in 27th position. Let's get an update from Bill Weber.
Okay, Bob, now Benny and Ned, how would you like to try and do this? 2 laps ago, Steve Park pitted for 4 tires and fuel. And one more thing, to find out that his power steering line has leaked. He has no power steering for the rest of this race.
Oh, man.
Well, this is probably the worst track that you could have that to happen. Because of the right and left-hand turns, you use that steering wheel a lot here, and so he's going to use those arm muscles.
I hope he's been going to the gym with some regularity. Otherwise, he's going to be in trouble. Burton down on the inside of the leader.
He's trying to get one of his 2 laps back, and he does.
There comes Tony Stewart, the second place car. Sterling Marlin is in 3rd. Tony's about 5 to 5.5 seconds behind Jeff Gordon.
And we have reached the halfway point. In fact, we're a lap past the halfway point. 57 circuits are in the books. There's Sterling Marlin. There is Mark Martin, who is running in 4th position, and behind him is Rusty Wallace, the pole sitter for today's race, who is 5th.
And since we've seen these cars, Mark Martin has gotten by Rusty and is pulling away from him a little bit. Rusty Wallace right now, the slowest of the top 6 cars in speed.
And Ricky Rudd and Bobby Labonte, the points leader. Bobby sitting there in 7th position. Rudd in 6th. And the next car is this orange bright car. As Dale Earnhardt Jr. has spun out, kept going. But Robbie Gordon is 18 seconds behind the leader.
And that's what Rusty Wallace was trying to avoid. I was trying to say a little bit ago, Robbie Gordon stayed up for a long, long time on those old tires, and he lost those 18 seconds as Jeff Gordon and those other cars had those fresh tires.
Here's Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s problem down in turn number 11.
Well, unfortunately, we can't blame that on anybody but Dale Jr.
No one was around him. Of course, that lessened the chance of him getting hit as a result of no one being around him.
He is back in 22nd position, and here is the leader of the race, Jeff Gordon. Stewart, Marlin, Martin, Wallace are the top 5 here with now 58 laps completed. More of our live coverage after these messages. Lance.
Like a caution flag to me.
Where's that? Yeah,
where did he stop?
Yeah, when you get back, caution will be out.
Yeah, it's a caution, isn't it?
Here, just in front of,
31 a little bit ago when Skinner spun out.
Terry got his lap back.
Yeah.
Terry Labonte. Yeah. Mhm.
Formed up. We are under our third caution of the day because of a stalled car of Brian Semo down on the front stretch. So this brings out our third caution of the afternoon. We understand it's a broken drivetrain on the Semo car. Semo, of course, a veteran of the Trans Am series. Well, join ESPN2 for the greatest cycling race in the world, the 87th Tour de France. Coverage begins Friday at 7:30 Eastern with a preview special. Last year's winner, Lance Armstrong, will try to defend his title. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. Shot from the Pennzoil copter cam will show you the field crossing under the bridge and heading to the area where we will be getting an indication of who's coming in for a pit stop.
I expect most of them will, Bob. Even though they can't make it from here on, they want to get fresh tires on.
Now, Robbie Gordon, who is back in the 8th position, I'm told that is thinking about staying out. We'll see if he does that or not. Here comes Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Sterling Marlin, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace. So far, every one of them in the lead lap is hitting pit road. And Robbie Gordon has decided, I think I'll go in and get some fresh tires on.
Yeah, I think that was smart because he saw what it did to him before, staying out there on those older tires.
By the way, Terry Labonte got his lap back. John?
Dale Earnhardt pulls into his pit, a 4-tire change, no adjustments to the car. Dale says it's been pretty good. In fact, Earnhardt has told Kevin Hamlin, who's coaching, I haven't really been using the brakes as much as I could, so we should watch the 3-car move up even more. The Jerry Punch.
Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin in, Mark Martin as well, Tony Stewart, no changes whatsoever on Jeff Gordon's car, 4 tires, and they cannot make it the rest of the way on field. They'll have to make a final stop with about 10 or 12 laps to go. Gordon is down and away, and they will shoot back toward turn 1.
Gordon leads the procession off pit road, but there are some who chose not to pit. Kenny Wallace and Michael Waltrip and Kyle Petty, Bill Elliott and others. Mike Bliss, Earnhardt Jr., Schrader, all coming out after their pit stop.
Now, Scott Pruitt in the Tide car was one of the last cars to pit on the green flag, and maybe he's one that decides he will stay out, then only stop one more time. Since everyone else has to stop one more time, so will he.
60 laps completed and under caution here. Scott Pruitt does have the lead. Stay with us for more live coverage of the SaveMart Kragen 350.
Pruitt has run 14.
Yeah, I started to play that in there, and I thought we were going to break. In fact, I knew we were going to break, but I thought we was doing it right then. So.
Well, it seems like it's been longer than 14 laps since it did.
Yeah, it takes a long time to go out. So I thought a while ago Rusty had run 3 or 4 laps after, or Earnhardt had run 3 or 4 laps after Rusty pitted.
Yes. Correct. He can't be included in the pit summary when he didn't pit.
Yeah. Rusty must have made some pretty good changes in that car. Yeah. The amazing thing is, they, according to Jeff's time that we had up there, they're all slow. Didn't we have about 17 something for Jeff's pit stop?
Yeah.
No. I'm guessing that Rusty made some pretty serious changes on his car.
ESPN welcomes you back to Sears Point Raceway in Sonoma, California. Still under caution here with Scott Pruitt at the front of the line. He did not make a pit stop during this caution period. Now let's look at the Coke pit summary and show you who did what on the pit stops. Gordon lost a position, so did Stewart. Marlin lost 3. Martin stayed the same, and Rusty Wallace lost 3. And you would think, Betty, maybe they did some changes to that car during that stop.
It looked like Rusty Wallace was kind of falling back to the other car, so I would guess that Robin and the guys made some adjustments on that car during that pit stop. And these guys really didn't lose anything because Scott Pruitt stayed out.
Joe Nemechek is in 10th position here as we get lined up for a restart, but it's a few moments away, so another break. Stay with us. Back in a moment.
Who, the one car?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Very smart.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can do all the waving you want, but nobody in the whole world except possible satellites viewers are going to see you. Just thought you wanted to know.
Well, maybe they got their satellite on.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be. Well, there's the... What was DJ up to, 12th?
Yep.
Gained a couple spots on the pit stop.
Ain't hitting on much today, is he? Or is he running pretty good?
He's running fair. He's not, no, he's not real sharp.
What are they doing? What's going on? Are those fans or track workers?
Across the track over there?
I guess
Like
they're
fans,
track
isn't it?
workers because they're changing the billboards.
Oh.
Okay. You can do without that. We are still under caution, and we will be going at least one more lap before the green comes out to resume this race. We're on our third caution of the day, and that was brought out by the stalled car driven by Brian Simo. Let's get a pit report first from John Kernan.
Jerry Nadeau has been on pit road several times during this caution because when he hit something with the rear of the car, it crimped up the filler hose so they could not get fuel into the car. But he just was able to come on pit road. They lifted up the deck lid, got underneath, uncrimped the hose, filled in full of fuel. So that problem has been fixed for Jerry Nadeau. Now to Bill Weber.
Rusty Wallace is currently running 8th, and one reason why his pit stop was 21.41 seconds, and I can tell you why. They couldn't get the left front wheel off of the car. They had the lug nuts off of it, but apparently the left front wheel hung up on the cap. Come on down here. It hung up in this area. This isn't the actual tire, but it hung up right on here. Bill Wilburn, who changes the left front and the right front tire, says he's only had that happen once before at Martinsville, and it was the right front tire. The reason it could happen here, the left front apparently takes the most abuse. They normally have great pit stops. This one, 21 and change to Jerry Punch.
And a possible problem developing with Tony Stewart in the Home Depot Pontiac. I understand that Greg Zippodelli is a crew chief, but we understand, Greg, that Tony is not feeling well at all and has asked you to help find a relief driver for him.
Yeah, we're looking right now. We tried to get a hold of John Andretti. He's out of here. They're trying to track him down and get permission. I don't know. It's a shame. The Home Depot Pontiac's running really good. Tony's doing an awesome job. He just, I guess, overheating. His stomach's upset, and so we just give him a whole bunch of ice here. Hopefully we can stick this thing out here.
All right, they got to make one more pit stop. They're going to try to get him to make it till about 12 laps to go. They're trying to keep him calm by talking to him and getting his mind off of the heat, but overheated, an upset stomach. He's trying to hang on and finish it here at Sears Point.
Tony right now running in the 3rd position behind Jeff Gordon and the leader of the race, Scott Pruitt. We'll take another break and be right back in just a moment.
I'm afraid Scott's going to be dead in the water. Those old tires. They're going to have, everybody else will have new tires on twice, and he'll only have them one time. I don't know.
They did? Good.
I guess we're going green here, aren't we? Let's see the lights on the pace car.
Yep. Neil's going to miss it.
You have little faith. I know.
Yeah.
Power steering.
Power steering. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, jeez. You're gonna hit it just right. Well, the field comes out of corner number 11, and they begin the acceleration now, and the green flag comes back out. We are racing once again at Sears Point Raceway. Scott Pruitt at the front of the field. Scott has won here at Trans Am, not in at Sears Point, not in a Winston Cup race, but in Trans Am. He won a race here back in '87, and Tony Stewart wanted to get 2nd position away from Jeff Gordon there.
Right now, the 32 car, Scott Pruitt, out there on older tires than most of these cars. So he should be a little slower at the front. And Jeff Burton, the 99 car, Exide car, desperately wanted to get in front of Pruitt so he can, if the caution should come out, could get a lap back. There'll be some serious braking going on when we get to turn 11.
At one time, Jeff Burton was 2 laps down. Now he's only 1 lap down. You're right, Benny. He would love to get by him in case the caution could come out here pretty quickly again and put him back in the lead lap.
Well, here we go. Burton can't do it. Gordon can't do it. You see Sterling Marlin trying to come up on the outside of Ricky Rudd. And Robbie Gordon gets by the 18 car of Bobby Labonte.
Jerry has a report on Scott Pruitt, the leader.
A number of the competitors are radioing to each other and saying they think the 32 car is on 7 cylinders. I checked in their pits and they said, no way. We either have a cracked header or a cracked exhaust pipe. It's sputtering and sounds like it's missing, but it's not. It's hitting on all 8.
Yeah, I think it's hitting on all 8 because otherwise he would not be able to stay in front of Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon nearly as easily as he is.
His tires are, excuse me, Bob, his tires are about 14 laps older than Jeff Gordon's.
Ooh, and Rusty got off the course there just a little bit. Just using every inch of the racetrack here. We understand that Boris said, who we told you was out of the race, well, he isn't. His car is, but he is now relief driving in the 77 car for Robert Presley. They have found John Andretti, so we may see him get in the Tony Stewart car.
Bobby Gordon was trying to get by Rusty Wallace going down in turn 11 that time. Riding on board with Bobby Labonte, the Circuit City on board as he's right on the back bumper of Robbie Gordon. Bill Nemechek behind there, Dale Earnhardt, Bobby Hamilton, Dale Jarrett. All those cars racing for position.
More on Tony Stewart from Jerry.
On the radio, Tony Stewart sounds like a gladiator that's been asked to fight one more battle before the day is done. He told the crew, "You've never given up on me, and I am not going to give up on you. I'm going to hang in here." Now, the good news here at the Tony Stewart pit is they have found John Andretti. He is flying back in his STP uniform and is standing by. The crew now are trying to hunt down some ammonia, to put some ammonia in some ice water for a cold thaw to possibly give Tony Stewart on the final pit stop. It was that remedy that helped Jeff Gordon make it to the checkered flag a year ago when he was very, very ill, and Gordon won.
There goes Gordon on the inside of Pruitt. Trying to get that lap back.
Jeff Burton, he wants to get back on the lead lap in case the caution does come out.
This is the mixture that they're creating for Tony Stewart.
Oh, some contact, but I'm sorry, as we see him concocting this drink.
That's all for Tony Stewart, who is not feeling well, but he has taken second position from Jeff Gordon.
There was some contact between Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon going up in turn 2, and that's when they had to get off the gasoline accelerator when Tony Stewart dove in there. And he dives on the inside of Burton.
As you can see, Jeff has once again lost that lap.
He knows that a lot of race cars are running close together after this restart. Jeff Burton does. If he could just get in front, there's a possibility that a couple of them might make contact and cause a caution, and boy, that would make up 2 miles in a hurry.
All right, Tony Stewart trying to drive down, outbrake Burton. He does it.
Now that will certainly hurt Burton's chances of getting back on the lead lap.
And Stewart now sets his sights on the leader of the race, Scott Pruitt, as they head for the hill once again. And Stewart is right alongside him, and Pruitt has to hit the brakes.
And Tony goes around. And Burton gets back in front. Here goes Gordon trying to take the lead.
And I doubt there's going to be a caution as Stewart is able to maybe get back on course. Yes. Well, the effort to get the lead results in several positions lost for Tony Stewart. And Scott Pruitt is also off.
Well, let's see, is he going to be able, it looks like he's rolling, just waiting for traffic to get by. He might be able to go again if he can get an opening in the traffic. Yeah, he's getting traction, so he would be able to go, so no caution for him.
Those running first and second get off course, and Gordon's got the lead again.
There's some pretty good damage to the right and rear of the tied Ford.
And Jeff Burton is way out in front of Jeff Gordon, so if the caution should come out, boy, this is going to be great for him.
All right, here's what happened, BP.
Series of replays. Ever see Scott Pruitt slide that front tire, goes up, gets in the left rear of Tony. Around goes Tony. Pruitt gets his car going again. Burton gets in front. Now here Jeff Gordon's alongside Pruitt. Watch this. Watch Pruitt slide that left front. Going to make contact.
Now, what happened to the 32? Well, we shall see here.
Goes up the hill, slides that right front once again. And a little contact from Jeff Gordon.
Yep.
And around he goes.
That puts Pruitt, and Scott has driven into another tire barrier, this time deeper than before, and so the fourth caution of the afternoon will come out. Jerry?
Well, Scott Pruitt radio just prior to going into that barrier a moment ago, he thought he had a tire going down after possible contact a moment ago up there in turns 2 and 3, and apparently he did have a tire going down. He just now said on the radio, I think I cut a tire or blew a tire, and had no control over the car. He's obviously wedged pretty seriously there into the tire barrier, and the caution flies once again.
And unfortunately, the grass underneath the car is on fire. I believe that's what I'm sure it's the grass, that the exhaust underneath that car is just extremely hot. Fire extinguisher, please, quickly down to the 32 car.
And let's not let that get out of hand.
That's in turn 10.
Yeah, it is.
Jeff Burton got his lap back, so he's back on the lead lap. At one time, he was 2 laps down. Got back on the lead lap now.
Pace car comes out and picks up the field as the wrecker will be needed for Scott Pruitt's car into the tire barrier in turn number 10. 69 laps completed here at Sears Point Raceway. And here is what happened to him. He apparently got in pretty hard because he's moved one of the cement barriers.
I think he's got a flat tire. The car just would not turn, and in that barrier he went.
Wow. So a lot of damage to that car. It'll be a while before they can get it out of this location.
Wouldn't you think the tire was flat?
Yeah, I would think so. I would think one of those 2 times that he flat spotted it, it wore through. Who am I hearing that I don't normally hear? Are you hearing somebody else? I'm hearing, I don't know who it is, somebody in the truck that I normally don't hear. That is...
Who could that be?
He's directing somebody, but I don't know. Keith, maybe.
Okay.
42 laps to go if they stop now. But if they have to go, well, they got 42 laps to go, so apparently they feel they can make it.
At Sears Point, where some didn't, but a lot did come in for pit stops. Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace, and all these guys here are coming out from a pit stop. Jerry, looks like the driver change is occurring.
Tony Stewart has climbed out of the Home Depot Pontiac. They put John Andretti in. It's a little bit different from the size of these 2 drivers. They put a big foam pad around John Andretti's waist and back to try to support him a little bit so they can fit in the seat, trying to get him wired in, get all the seat belts on. They have not changed tires. They have not even added fuel. They're going to come back in next time by, next lap around, and make the normal pit stop, tire change, and fuel addition. Now the crew will go out because they do have time here on the road, of course, under caution to change tires. They'll go out. The reason they couldn't go across because you're only allowed 6 guys over the wall, and they need the people to help get the driver out. He'll make a chassis adjustment, put the track bar back where it was. Left side tire is going on. The driver has been changed, and in just a moment, John Andretti will pull away in Tony Stewart's Pontiac. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Rusty Wallace talked it over with his crew chief. They decided they could go the rest of the way on fuel, so if the leaders came, meaning basically the 24, they were going to pit. That's exactly what happened. They had a much better pit stop this time around. As for the 28 car, Ricky Rudd, his crew chief Michael McSwain told Ricky, stay out. I don't think we're going to be able to go the rest of the way on fuel. He said, what if half of the guys come? What if half of the guys don't? He said, follow the 24. Then they got back on the radio. They said, Ricky, don't come. We're not going to make it. When everybody else came in, Rudd came down pit road. They had a good stop, too. 4 tires, also ice water and a wash rag, a very cold one for Ricky Rudd. To John Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt's crew knew that they could make it the rest of the way on fuel, but the concern was the tires, because after about 30 laps, the lap times really fall off on the tires and they start slipping and sliding around the racetrack. Fuel, not a concern, but Earnhardt was not planning on pitting unless the leaders pitted. When Jeff Gordon and everybody in front of him decided to duck on pit road, it was monkey see, monkey do. They came in, took on 4 tires, filled it up with fuel. No other adjustments for Dale Earnhardt.
So Dale Earnhardt is in 12th position. At the front of the field, the leader of the race is Kenny Wallace, as Tony Stewart is being transported to a medical facility to be checked over. Kenny Wallace is the leader of the race, and this is the first time that he has led a race this year. John Andretti, we heard from Jerry, had some padding around his waist. Well, there it is, so that he could better fit into the much larger seat occupied by Tony Stewart in the Home Depot Pontiac.
Tony Stewart is probably 30 to 40 pounds heavier than John Andretti.
Well, right now we are under caution once again, our 4th of the afternoon, with Kenny Wallace leading Mike Skinner.